Good morning. We're so happy to see you today. I am Jessica, and this is the ever famous John Kirksick, and we are with Medicare Mapped. You can find us on Facebook under Medicare Mapped, and we're discussing supplements today. Are Medicare supplements worthwhile, and what are they specifically? Because that's a little bit complex. So take it away, Mr. John. What is a supplement?
Well, I can't start any day without a little rant.
Rant, do it.
Very well. So over the last few years, we've had the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. We've had what seniors have. It's the annual enrollment period, the AEP, ACA. Love my acronyms, right? Still on my acronym kick. And the AEP for seniors is October 15th through December 7th.
Coming up.
It's been that way for quite some time. And in the ACA arena, for those that are under 65, that time frame, Jess, is normally what? Will you just work with me here?
November 1st to December 15th.
Correct. And I have no idea, but for some reason, they've decided that we are not able to make decisions in that time period this year. So they've extended.
We have an extra 30 days of suffering. Yay.
Yeah, and with that, goodness gracious, it just constantly mind-blowing that we have to do that. Oh my gosh, my watch is buzzing and we got to make it stop, Jess. Those are the things that just happen in life. I don't even know what's going on this minute. So if I'm looking down, that is currently what's going on. So anyway, let's get on to our topic now that it's actually stopped buzzing. Medicare supplements. Medicare was created, excuse me, frog in the throat today. Medicare was created back in the 60s. And it was not intended to cover 100% of everything. That just was never its intent, to cover everything. So just like any other insurance type policy, it has deductibles and basically kind of a max out of pocket copay type things. So if you go to the hospital, there's a dollar amount attached to that. And that goes up every year. So
you're meaning the deductibles go up every year, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And the dollar amount attached is your out of pocket. That's
correct.
Required.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So over the last few years, you've seen, like when you go see the doctor, you have to pay a copay. It usually takes a couple of doctor's visits to get there. And then Medicare starts to pay after that point. They still require 20% of that doctor's cost from you as well. So there's some still fees involved in Medicare.
So let me stop you for a quick second. Is there a cap on that 20%? So like in your traditional world, there's a max out of pocket. And so your 20% doesn't run indefinitely. It runs until you hit that cap.
Correct.
Is that the case in Medicare?
So just to clarify that, if you've had cancer for the year, right, and you've had chemo and those treatments are costing tens of thousands of dollars and you're earning hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you had a $1 million cancer bill and it was 20%, you'd be responsible for $200,000. When we have a cap, depending on the insurance plan, it could be $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, but you're correct. There's a cap. There is not a cap on Medicare.
That's my question. Okay.
Yep. So just so we're clear on that, there is not a cap on Medicare, right? And that gets
meaning that 20%, you are going to be paying that 20% potentially indefinitely if you don't do something to mitigate that cost.
Correct. Or we go back to some of our other video clips. You may be declaring Medicaid, right? You may, it gets a little. So that brings us to subs. How were they created? Why were they created? They were created to help lessen
that burden,
that problem, right? And depending on which sup you buy from an insurance company will depend on how much percentage of your 20% and of your copays that it covers. So that's kind of a that's why we get back to that, G plans, F plans, K plans, L plans.
So you can kind of think of it like a gap policy, right? Like it's designed
Yes,
to
in
come
fact, the
in
federal, yeah, the
okay.
federal government calls it a Medigap plan.
Okay. Okay. So
Yep.
now those of us lay a little bit who don't live in this world, is it just Medigap or are there like multiple different types? So for example, you can buy a SUP that covers hospitalization, or you can buy a SUP that covers accidents, or you can buy a SUP that covers specific type of cancer treatments. Are they niched like that, or is it just a flat Medigap?
Well, it's interesting because when I talk about my vehicle, I always just say it's a car,
Yeah.
whether it's an SUV or whether it's a truck or whether it truly is a car, right? In the insurance world, we've kind of just lumped everything that's not your medical insurance into a terminology of supplement.
Right.
If we were to actually get down to it, we would call what we're discussing a Medigap plan.
Okay.
And the other plans, we would call those ancillary plans.
Okay.
But we just simply call them all supplement plans. So that can get a little
It's
confusing.
confusing. The language is
If I
tough.
said I'm taking my car and I'm going to put some gravel in my car, right? You'd be like, "Are you sure you want to put dirt or gravel in your car?"
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. So ancillary products are those other type of products which would help pay for hospitalization or cancer treatments. And those type of policies typically pay you directly. So they're considering that there will be some additional loss of work or travel time or wear and tear on vehicles or whatever the case may be. So when you're buying those policies, it's usually money in your pocket, right?
Do they work in tandem with Medicare as well as they do in the traditional market?
Yes. So that's why I said that's exactly where we were headed to, right? So your supplement policies, we're calling it, or your Medigap policy, as we call it, same thing, right? That's when they're talking about a Medicare supplement policy, they're talking about a Medigap policy. So if Medicare pays, then it pays.
Medigap pays.
Medigap pays.
Got it.
Okay. But beware of that. That's a whole nother topic. Goodness gracious. I feel like I'm on a bumpy road typically, and we just keep driving off cliffs, Jess. I have had many people.
So many rabbit holes.
Yeah, my Medigap policy didn't cover. And I said, did your Medicare cover? And they said, oh, I don't know. I just assumed Medigap would cover. Come to find out, their doctor had required, or requested, I should say, tests that Medicare does not deem necessary.
Got it.
So if your Medicare doesn't pay,
Medigap doesn't pay.
Medigap doesn't pay.
But the ancillary plans that are specific to those types of things would still pay.
Correct.
Okay, so it gets a little bit tricky.
Yep. So that's they were created back in the 60s. Insurance companies saw they could fill a need. They saw the profit and loss of it. They felt like it was worth going into that arena, and Medigap policies were created. So
okay. So let's just be super duper clear one more time for those of us in the peanut gallery. So you have your traditional Medicare that's going to pay, then you have a Medigap, and well, let me back up. So your Medicare policy has a 20% coinsurance across the board, meaning that it doesn't really matter what you have done, 20% of that bill is coming out of your pocket. Medigap is designed to be a gap policy that fills that 20% hole, so that you aren't coming with an obscene amount of money out of pocket if something gnarly happens.
Correct.
There so far. Then we have an ancillary plan that could pay potentially in addition to those three, that pay you specifically out of pocket rather than paying the providers. So your ancillary plans would pay you cash to help offset any loss that you have in addition to what Medicare and Medigap did not cover.
Correct. Clear as mud.
Confusing enough. So there's like three different things we're talking about. And I don't have a third hand, so it might be easier, but there we go. Okay, so John, you can't see me point. Okay, so you're the Medicare hand. This is the Medigap hand. This is the ancillary hand.
Yep, there we go. Medicare, right?
So
there.
It's a whole thing for sure.
Yep.
But you got three different things you're trying to keep track of so that you don't end up in the hot seat if something crazy happens, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Am I missing anything or do I understand?
Yeah, so that would be the simplest form. Let's just be clear. There are two parts of Medicare, A and B.
Okay.
This is pertaining, the 20% is pertaining to B.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, so let me back up further, again, for the peanut gallery. So you have your Medicare hand. Can you hold your hand back up for me?
Yep, there it is again. Boom.
Okay, so we've talked about Medicare Advantage plans, which are A and B and are designed to help cover all kinds of things and your D and some additional other things, right? So if, put your hand back up, I'm not done with
Oh,
your
sorry.
hand.
Sorry, I
So,
didn't know. Do you just want it here? Is that what you wanted? Do you just want it over this? You want me to do that?
If you're a Medicare Advantage plan, what happens with that 20%?
Oh, so that is a whole different kettle of fish that you're gonna have to wait another conversation.
So T on that, as my children would say, let's just wait. Just if you have traditional Medicare Part A and Part B, then you need to think about doing a Medigap and potentially some ancillary plans. So you don't lose your shirt.
Correct.
Medicare Advantage, take this and pop it over here and we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. And with that, I bid you adieu.
Oh, we're done. Okay. All right. Well, it's been lovely. Again, please find us on Facebook at Medicare Mapped. Bye.
Remember, it's all good.
And thank goodness for that, right?
Yep. Have a great day.
Bye.